copy your assignment for into your R project. So in my case here, I copied the data set here, serials, right? You can copy your Markdown file inside here. Okay, so you double click on this, it will open your R projects. And I can see here, this is the name of the R project that I'm using. And I can see here my Markdown, and I can see my downloaded file for serials here. Okay, so once you have that, I highly recommend you watch the lecture videos, especially for dplyr function, to get the most out of this assignment, which will also be very crucial for your proposals and final projects. Okay. Just as a quick overview, you can see these are some of the functions, most common functions in dplyr package: select, filter, mutate. These are what we're going to use for this assignment. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is setup. Setup just means you want to load the libraries, right? So alternatively, you can load these libraries sequentially, individually, or you can just go ahead and load library tidyverse. If you remember, the tidyverse here comprises of all these different libraries. But for assignment, we're going to use the readr to import the data, and the dplyr to access these different functions. And ggplot here is for the extra credit. I'm just going to show you the first one here. So when you load your data here, we first of all, let's run that. So I think I already ran that. So you just need to execute that. You're going to use this function read. So read underscore CSV, and you can see it comes from the readr package. Okay, so since we loaded the library tidyverse, so we have that facility. And then inside here, we pass a string. The first part here is the location of your folder. So let's say if I didn't have this, okay, so it means your data set needs to be inside here, the same working directory, right? To know your working directory, just do the get wd like that, and you can see this is the default working directory. Okay, but since my data is here, so if you're having a problem, just make sure your R Markdown is in the same directory here, working directory with your data set. Otherwise, you can use this format I'm showing here, where you can have a folder data and you can store your serials there. So I'm just gonna go ahead. So remember, we use a backward slash, right? And it's case sensitive, so make sure you type correctly the name of your file. All right. So if you do that successfully, you should be able to load your file. Okay. One thing during data preprocessing was to check whether we have missing values, right? If you open it directly, you'll see that we have some missing values, but we can also use a function here. You know, we could say is.na, right? And we pass our serials. So I think we're asking our check if we have. And if I quickly scroll here, everything is false except some sections here we have true. Okay, I could modify this code and just say, let's get the count, the total count. Just say sum, then is .na. Okay, and then I pass serials. So here I'm asking, what's the total count of missing values? And it tells me it's 4. So this is not good. And this is what requires you to do for the second section, right? So once you load out data, so you want to clean the data, right? So I'm going to show you this one. So there are 2 approaches you can do here. So the first approach here is to, first of all, use the pipe operator. So this is the name or the object of our, this is actually where we've loaded our data, we've stored our data. So we're going to call that, we can say serials, right? So we want to remove, or we want to clean the data. So we're going to say serials, right? And then pipe operator, shift command M. Okay, I can click on enter. And I could simply say, maybe there's this function you can use, drop. Okay, this comes from the tidyr package, NA, right? So that will drop all the missing values, right? And make sure you can save. Again, you want to store the results here. So I could just say serials. I could say serials again here, then option hyphen, okay? Or you could say serials clean, depending. So just make sure be uniform, because you're going to be using this object a lot for the next different question. So that's just one way of doing it, right? Alternatively, you can you can also use the isNA, right? So remember .isNA. So you can just say isNA and pass your serials. It will have the same effect. So you're saying serials, right? And then you pass that like that, and make sure you can save it into some object. So both of these code will do the same thing. Okay. All right. And then of course, summarize here, especially, this verb here just asks us to summarize, right? So the last section of our PowerPoint, you'll see we are using summarize. So summarize is a very useful function. So essentially here, you're just piping your serials into, then you use the summarize, right? So it doesn't matter. You can use the Z or S. So you summarize, and then you want to find, the mean. Which one is this? Oh, so you want to find the mean and the median and the SD of the sugar, right? So here, what you want to do here is you can actually do some, you can create new columns. So let me do the first one. So the first one, you can say, so I want to find the mean of the sugar, right? So I'll just abbreviate as that, then equals to, and then I apply the function called mean, all right? So this mean, I'm going to use it like that, and then you need to know the name of the column. So actually what we needed to do here was to view our data. So I'm just going to type here serials, right? And run that. So just to see that we have all these columns. So it takes some few seconds to understand, how your data looks like. You can see here. So remember, you can see I have here, I didn't store my data here, but in your clean data, you should be able to see that you don't have this. In fact, let me just execute that. So you could just say serials here, serials, right? Serials. Okay. Option like that. All right. So that now, let's see, where's is n is required one. Okay. So here I could just say, just go there. Just do this. Let me use the drop a is NA drop. Let me use this one for now here. Run that. Okay. So if I run this again, then we should be able to see a complete records without the missing values. Okay. Anyway, so the sugar here is what we are interested in, right? So we pass here sugar. Remember, has an S, then comma, right? And then you do again for median, right? Give it some name, underscore, give it some name, right? Median, give it some name, maybe sugar, then equals to, and then you use the function median, right? And then you pass sugar again. You do that, separate by a comma, do the same for SD. So here again, you might want to do SD underscore sugar and then SD sugar. Then once you run that, you'll have these three columns. You can see here. So this is what we are naming our new column to have the mean of this column, a new column to have the median of this column. And then the last one is the SD. So make sure this parenthesis is there. Okay, and that's just summarized. Really cool. Okay. The calories here is the same thing. You can also use summarize, right? So again, here, you can just say summarize. And then here, to get the total calories of all cereals, if you go back here, you can see there's a column here called calories, right? So we know there's a function called sum, right? So you want to, in fact, this is exactly what you're going to do. You want to pass that as an argument, right? So if you pass that as an argument, okay, but make sure for you to do this, you need to use the pipe operator. So always, so we're saying from the cereals data set, pipe that, okay, and then you're saying from this data set, right, summarize only the calories, okay, get the total count of all the calories. So you're, if you do it correctly, then you'll have this number, okay. Mutate here, if you recall, from the lecture video, you can see here, it's to create a new column. Okay, so let's go and see how to do that. So to create a new column, we use mutate. All right. So, and it's pretty simple. So here, make sure always to save your content. So here again, our data set is called cereals, right? Cereals. And then we pipe this. Want to pipe that probably into mutate. So usually I usually like just saying enter, then mutate. Okay, it takes some argument. So the first argument is the name of your new column, and that new column is what we call cal per cup. All right, equals to, and then we wanna do some calculation here. So the cal per cup is just calories per cup. So we have this column here, calories, right? And then we have cups, right? So what do you think you can do? So you're gonna divide. So basically you're just dividing this column, calories divided by cups. Okay, so in fact, this is what you're gonna put in here. So calories divided by cup, right? And then make sure you also save this object. So just give it some meaningful name. Okay, so here I'll just use that. Then once you do that, you wanna again retrieve it back again. Okay, if you retrieve it back again, you'll notice that you will end up having something similar to this, and that's it. And you'll see your new column here, which is a product of calories here, calories divided by cups, and then we have a new column. All these contents are saved into this new column, and that's mutate. Okay, filter just allows you to filter, right? So pretty simple as well. So filter just takes a few arguments as well. So again, from our data set, we're just saying from our data set called serials, we're saying then we want to use the filter function. Okay, so the filter goes like that. All right, then remember we want to filter by, so I'll just use a different, so our manufacturer here, so that's MFR, so want to filter MFR. So in this case, let's say I want to filter, and you can read more about the data set. If you open the .csv, you can see that others are Kellogg, General Mills, and all that. General Mills, I think, just stands for G. So if I wanted to say K, for example, okay, so you want to use the operator, right? So you have to figure that one out. Is it double equal sign or single equal sign? All right. So once you figure that one out, then you need to use for example, double quotes there, so that we can extract that. So you're saying filter MFR, okay, that matches this. Okay. Then after that, you want to do something else, and then you want to select only the relevant columns. Okay, so to do that, you just again continue like that and combine that with the select function. Select here just selects the relevant. So for example, here I want to see the name, MFR, and maybe what else? Maybe we can just choose here the cal per cup. I think that will be sufficient. So just make sure you do that, name, comma, and select the other two columns, for example, manufacturer, okay, because we're filtering by manufacturer, and we want to get to know the calories per cup, okay, and that's it. Then once you do that, again, you need to save. So make sure you save your serials again. So I could just say serials here. In our case here, maybe because we were looking at General Mills, so make sure you change that to G, for example. Okay, don't mind my typos here. And then so that'll be serials. Let me just change that. So that'll be serials G, and then like that. Okay, so once you have that, make sure you call it back here again. So that'll be serials, serials G. Okay, and then you'll have something similar to this. That's it. Okay, arrange here from our arrange here just sorts the results by default. The arrange function just sorts by ascending order. Okay, so again here it's the same thing. So we want to sort our data set from a previous step. Okay, so how to do that? So we just want to get the data from serials underscore G. Then we say filter that. Maybe probably not. Just say serials. Okay, so we want to filter serials, right? And then what we want to do here is to actually, you know what? Serials G. Yeah. So we want to get the serials G. I think it was serials G, right? And then we want to filter. Or rather, sorry, we want to arrange. Okay. So arrange here, if we wanted to sort that data set, right? So by default will be by ascending, right? But for you to get this output, then you might not want to use the descending here. So what descending here just starts with the largest going to the smallest, all right? And then you pass your relevant column here, okay, which is just essentially the calories per cup. So you want to pass that as the argument, okay? And that's it. And then essentially here, the last one is just to combine all these different steps, okay? To combine all these different steps is pretty simple. Again, remember, you have your serials, right? So you have your serials like that, you put it, and remember, we've looked at mutate, we've looked at filter and select. So again, so you wanna just review what you've just done, mutate. So I think that was which section. So you wanna get that, mutate. So that will form your mutate. Then next, you go to filter, okay? So filter here, remember that step was this part. So that's what you want, filter, okay? Want to filter by G, okay? So we want to filter that by G, all right? So we want to filter that by G, and then you can just say next, okay? So I'll be Shift, Command M, right? And then lastly here, we want to select the relevant columns, right? And these columns, you know, could be name, as you can see here. This is the output I'm expecting: name, manufacturer, and cal per cup. And then here, you're filtering to General Mills, right? In fact, here, if you want to go ahead, you can also use this function here. It's called top underscore NA, right? So to get the exact match as me here, you can say 3, comma, and then you can pass this as an argument. So if you don't do this, you'll have a bunch of output here, I think over 10 and so on and so forth. But if you say we want to view just the top 3, okay, results, then it will just automatically summarize for you here. And that's it as far as assignment 4B is concerned. So again, I highly recommend you watch the lecture video so that you can get the best out of this assignment. And again, you can build up on this knowledge for your proposal and final project.